Back at it again.
What up, what up, what up?
What's going on, y'all?
This is Humanity's Last Hope, and this is episode 4, officially.
Official episode 4th, yes. 4th episode. I'm Dorian.
I'm Erron.
And we are the dynamic duo, Humanity's Last Hope.
Yes, sir.
It's good to be back.
Yes, because my guy's been going on a trip, work shit, and then, been busy with AK stuff, which is what we kind of want to tap on today. Just the process that is building the brand, like the enjoyment, the creativity behind it, and just going after something, you know what I'm saying, you feel you want to accomplish in life and shit like that. So we're going to be just jumping into that and then see where it goes from there.
Yep.
Sir.
Yeah, so I've been gone for the last 3 weeks because, part of, kind of like you could say is consider my day job is, I own a shoe store in Oklahoma, and so I had a couple employee separations, so I had to dip back there, hire some new folks, get everybody trained to a comfortable level that I feel like I can leave them again. So that's where I was at for the last 22 days, and just got back Thursday. So
real
excited.
Entrepreneur shit.
Yes. So that's
unforeseen. So you had some unforeseens in your business. I had some unforeseens in mine.
Yep.
As far as real estate is concerned, I had some court shit that I had to go through for a civil
Oh
case.
yeah, the eviction, right?
Yes, eviction / the appeal that she made, and you know what I'm saying, some other stuff that happened with that. So, when you're pursuing certain things, there's going to be obstacles. We hit some of those, but we're on the other end of it.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah, obstacles. I think that's one of the things that I kind of gauge as, or one of the things that I feel like is a necessary part of the journey is, if you're not hitting obstacles, then, probably what you're doing is, unless you're, super duper smart, you got everything figured out.
Even then though, bro, I feel a lot of people that are intelligent still come against certain obstacles, especially because you got to realize too, like when it comes to certain levels of intelligence, there's always a barrier to the next level of next goal or next level of experience. And so even when it's like small business problems, larger business problems, there's always going to be obstacles. And if you're not hitting the obstacles, that means how much effort are you really trying? Are you coasting? That type of stuff. So I think you should question whether it's something that you're pushing yourself to have to accomplish, or it just becomes that easy. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody could be a Chris Brown where they have like 8 different talents.
But this guy loves Chris Brown.
Yeah. But the funny thing is though, like even people like that come against obstacles all the time. And that's actually cool because and it kind of goes into the brand situation.
The obstacles are relative too.
Yeah, very relative. And when it comes to the brand situation, like, our first obstacle is like awareness. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody knows about us. Mm-hmm. And what we found to be the most fulfilling situation when faced with these type of obstacles of just striving from a ground zero perspective or a point, I feel is doing it for us, right? Like, do we enjoy it? Do we like the content? Did we like the product that we put out? Did we enjoy making the product, the conversations? And something you've been pushing a lot lately too is, and I'm definitely going to paraphrase it, and I think you should probably say the actual thing is like, when it comes down to like putting your all into something, if you go for broke, you can always start over. Yeah. But I paraphrased the shit out of it. But you said some fire ass bar the other day via our text, so I think you should probably touch on that too. Yeah,
well, I think you reach a certain point in life where the things that you want to do take greater precedence over the things that you don't. And so you begin to reduce some of the distractions and some of the things that, just kind of take up your time that don't benefit you. So kind of my thought was, I'm going to risk it all. I'm going to risk everything. I'm going to risk, success and failure on the things that I really want to do. And if I go broke or if I fail, then at the end of it all, I have experience. I'll have the experience of doing those things. And so, because, I don't want to get to the end of my life and have regret. I don't want to be an old man on my deathbed and have, oh man, I should have did that. I should have took that
I think
trip.
A lot of people fear that.
I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people are, I'm not too deep into that. I think most people are kind of sleepwalking,
Yes, zombies.
I think most people are afraid to really venture out there. You know,
Because with AK, I was making excuses about it, like starting because I came up with like
earlier
in
the
it,
initial
like,
idea. Yeah.
I was like making excuses about, oh, I need a certain amount of capital, or I got this real estate stuff going on, and then I really sat down and thought about it, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I came up with it 3 years ago, and I was just like, nah, bro, like I was just insecure to put it out and it not work. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, I'm a type of personality. I am outgoing, but I'm not fearless. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to everything, and so for me, I found that book helped me unlock like the fact that if I do it for myself and I'm creating it for something that I enjoy, that I have, like I'm wearing my own shit, then I win. You know what I'm saying? So there's no L in that situation. There's just learning lessons in the process along the way. And you really only fail if you quit.
Exactly.
You only fail if you quit, give up on the shit. So for me, I was
agree
like,
with that.
yeah. So it's like the obstacle is gonna be fear first and foremost, because you if you ever hit some sort of fear, some like hesitation to want to do something, that's something you should look into. Because I see a lot of people, you know, that are not just influential, but influential people that talk about, if you're afraid to do something, that's probably something you should look into why you're afraid to do it, and then pursue that. Because me, I come from a poverty mindset, and that's just due to how I was raised. I was like scarcity mindset. So for me, I feel like I don't want to lose money. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to risk money. I don't want to fail and not have nothing to show for it, because I don't have nobody to fall back on. You know what I mean? So that influenced a lot of like the insecurities I was having. I'm like, oh, if I put this money towards it, like, if shit don't fail, like I'm dropping my savings. You know what I'm saying? And that's what took me a long time to even understand why to get into real estate, like financial information and education and stuff like that, is because if you don't have like a sense of self and like what you want to do and why you want to do it, and understand that like the fears and traumas that you had as a kid don't necessarily apply right now, and you got to beat yourself out of those situations, out of those holes, like you really stay stagnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the brand was stagnant because I wasn't doing any progress. I got samples and stuff, but I wasn't making progress towards it because, you know, that fear in the back of my head. And one thing about me is I want to make sure that, like you said, like I seen what was on the other side of that fear, and I don't have a regret for it. Because if I do lose the money, you can always make money back, but you can't get your time back. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can't rewind and redo. You know what I mean? Right. So I feel when you mentioned that bar, that's why I was like, you gotta post this to your Instagram, bro. It hit me like, damn, that's like real. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna sell out, I'm gonna go broke. I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, have experiences to look back at. I'm not trying to hoard or play it too safe. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest with you, I played it safe and it doesn't really get you nowhere.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I agree with that. And, you know, my mindset is like this. You know, I grew up with nothing. I didn't have anything. So I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to go hungry. I know what it's like to not have anything. You know, like I grew up in Southern California, single parent home, just me, my brothers, and my mom.
Raised by your mom,
you know what I'm saying? And
household.
so, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, you know,
stereotype when it comes down to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I beat the statistics, right? Yes. You know, all the statistics that say, you know, growing up in a single parent household with your mother raising you, you're 5 times more likely to end up in a gang, 20 times more, or jail. You know what I'm saying?
Failed.
Or, you know, 20 times less likely to get a degree, or, you know, like, so I beat those statistics.
Yeah.
You know, and so how I view life now is like, okay, you know, like I'm just gonna do what I feel I should be doing, you know, and so, you know, whatever that be, you know, for a long time it changed daily, you know, like it was just like, damn, you know, I want to do this and that, and so, but, you know, so I feel like, okay, well, if I risk my life on this, like I've been broke before, that's not like
unfamiliar.
It's not unfamiliar to me, you know, or I've had nothing before, like literally nothing, you know.
It's crazy, not to interrupt you, but it's crazy because you told me about that Born Rich book. I started it, right?
Oh yeah.
It kind of touches on that, where like these people that you think like have the ultimate success, the richest people in the room, like end up in jail, suicidal, all this stuff, because they don't know what bottom looks like in some of their cases.
Right.
So when they hit it, they don't know like how to get out of it.
They feel like
so
it's
unfamiliar.
like a trap, you know,
their
like
fear
they're done.
Is 10 times worse than ours because we got through it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy because at first when I was listening to synopsis of the book, I'm like, I'm not about to listen. This is not my, like, I don't want to hear about old dead people and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you started listening to it because you know, because like that's it.
it touches on that.
It's a really in-depth book. Like he
Yeah.
pulls from a bunch of different things. And so I'm glad you started listening to
Yeah,
it.
so I've been listening to it, and it's
Yeah.
just it touches kind of on that. Like you could come out and be a product of your environment, a victim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you could break that, you know what I'm saying, expectation of your like that everybody has on your society has on your statistics do, and that comes from like pushing through like the uncomfortable. Because it could get really uncomfortable in some of these situations, like with this whole like eviction thing that I was going through with the business. It got uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, that's a big L. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at it also as like, well, when it comes down to it, if I deduct all that I lost from it, I still gained 20, you know, something out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there was still an upside to it because it was still progression. It wasn't a whole like home run situation because of the incident, how it played out. But if you change your perspective or your purview, you could shift your energy and your mindset. Because a lot of people, once they get in that zone of, oh, this is that, they hear about always about the good shit. Like I'm talking about some of the negative stuff because it's gonna come up no matter what level of experience you are. I haven't heard or seen anybody that's gone through something and like never experienced any sort of trauma or obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like something's in that. But I think we might have to pause because I think one of the cameras turned off.
Good thing you were talking and not me. Technical difficulties, guys, but we're back at it.
Yes, sir. We'll figure out how to land it, but we're still new. And that's another thing. We're still new at this. Obstacles.
I was getting ready to say like, you know, like we're everything on the podcast.
Yeah. Production,
videographer, photographer, editor.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
a full rounded situation. And
it is.
These are going to be like the obstacles we hit because, and we're going to talk about because it's expected. You know what I'm saying? We just started. This is 4th episode. It's going pretty well for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Some subtleties. We now know 4K is not the option right now.
Oh God. Yeah, I was going for, you know, what we were going for was like a, you know, super high def recording quality, but the file size was just gargantuan. It was huge.
So
and
it was troublesome for us to edit and shit.
Editing, uploading was the hardest. It was so time consuming. It took hours.
We had to set it on the charger just to upload.
And then it took me like 4 days to upload the 2 videos just because it was a nightmare. So, but we got that part figured out, and so I know that we're gonna have some new challenges and some new things to overcome here shortly. Well, hopefully not anything too crazy.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But at the same time, so we wanted to touch on a little bit of AK, right? So when it comes down to AK, Anime Kills, like we had a successful launch. You know what I'm saying? Everything went good. It was smooth.
Well, before you get into that,
go ahead.
Because I don't think we've mentioned AK on any of the previous episodes. We haven't. We haven't. So, and Aaron touched on it a little bit, but Anime Kills is a brand that Aaron founded, and then I jumped on as co-founder that we've been working on over the last, 2-3 months, and it's kind of like his brainchild, and really, our shared kind of dream, us both being in fashion, us both, having, interest in fashion and clothes ever since we were in high school. So this is a gym / streetwear apparel that is centered around our love of anime and what anime does, or what sort of the example that anime set for us.
Yeah, the characters, characteristics that that we embody, the characteristics that we want to pursue and perceive, to pretty much everything that permeate through everything we do. So we want to, anime kills limiting beliefs, excuses, and insecurities. You know what I'm saying? And these are like big factors and obstacles that halt progression. And we're into, the gym and stuff like that. So that's how it embodies the gym. Everybody knows now what anime is because it's so popping, but it's still something that, me personally, I've been watching since I've been a kid. So it has a lot of foundational structure in me and my personality and my character, outgoing, underdog, overcoming obstacles, I'm saying, something that's, common in our community. You feel me? So it had to be something relative to that when I created the brand. And since we created the brand, it's been an experience, learning, me and you, building our relationship.
Yep.
It's been exciting and fun, learning how to do certain things. just some of the simplest shit, like, you know what I'm saying, just designing some of the garments that I've been working on these last couple weeks, which I still can't wait to show you these while you were gone.
Very excited.
Hella
to see
design.
those.
So
Yeah.
I'm getting better at my creativity, working at that craft, while, you know, making sure that I'm bringing a lot of authenticity behind the product and stuff that I wear. So again, we're making this for us first and foremost, and then we're putting it out to the world. If they fuck with it, they fuck with it. If they don't,
Right.
that's cool, because we still got something we fuck with. So
Exactly.
And that's kind of how, you know, like Humanity's Last Hope came about too, is because in these situations, you know what I'm saying, we wanted a platform where we could just chop it up, chat. Yep. We had a lot of deep conversations, and a lot of things were pulled from those, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I want to get more and improve in the area of conversation, speaking on a camera, on a mic, and building that talent, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel that's an insecurity I had too, was just talking on the camera, you know what I mean? And so this is pulling me outside of my comfort zone. I'm an outgoing person. I'm an extrovert by nature, but I still have, you know what I'm saying, those insecurities, because childhood traumas, you know, I wasn't always that guy in my mind, right? So sometimes the little dude come out and he pops his head up, you feel me? So Anime Kills is another way of me putting that out there, you know what I'm saying? My confidence, I want everybody to feel as confident as I do. Everybody to have certain like bravado about themselves that nobody else can really chip away at, you know what I mean? That's like, I feel ultimate in any aspect in your life.
That would be a
big tool.
That would be a really interesting society if everyone was on like the same level of confidence, right? Everyone had a supreme level of confidence. Every person,
everybody,
you know,
it would be interesting, because this touched on something that I wanted to talk about too, because you see more hate on social media, and our pastor was talking about this, on social media than you do love. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But the people that are doing the hate are never doing it from a higher position.
No.
You can't, like, you don't see somebody hating from above.
No.
They're not worried about you.
Nope.
They're not, and if they are, it's only in love and recognizing you for where you're coming up at.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen somebody at a higher stature hating on somebody at a lower stature? I don't see that commonly. So if everybody was at the, man, that might be more of a peaceful society.
See rebuttals.
Yeah, you see
like,
you see opinions.
Right. But it's never that individual going out of their way to, you know, like spread negativity. You know, it's just not, you know, because I think, you know, and we touched on this a little bit before, but, you know, and I'll be honest, like, you know, earlier in my life, in my experience with social media, I never like commented on any of them, but I was definitely like envious, and I was of other people.
Really?
You know? Oh yeah.
Dive into that, because I ain't never know that. So what was pushing that?
What was pushing was the fact that I hadn't achieved the level of success that I thought that they had, and so I had to get comfortable.
Really?
You know, yeah, bro. I wrestled with that for a long time, especially when I was still playing football and I didn't have like any of the like objective, like the objective kind of tangible things that signify success.
Yeah, I got you.
Right. So like I didn't have a car. I was broke. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping on my brother's couch. You know what I'm saying?
You were at a low point.
I was rocking these old orange Hyper Dunks that I got at Ross for $19
Ross
with
used
every
to have the
fit,
sales.
bro. I was down bad.
Okay.
But you know, I was still grinding, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was still trying to play football and everything, and so I fell into that social media trap early. And this was back in like 2009, 2010, 2000, like in that period. Yeah. And really like 2010, 2011, really.
And what would you say? Because a lot of people might be there, or like might see a lot of people there in that low. What would you say got you out of it?
Man, you know what? I've been blessed with a mindset that, you know, I've been blessed, man. Like seriously, like I've been blessed with a self-awareness at a young age, you know, like just because I was forced to grow up, you know, when I was a kid. Like I was making household decisions when I was
y'all were adults by like 17.
Oh
16,
yeah.
Sure.
And so
I was moving like real adults at that time.
Yeah. And so, you know, for me, it was, okay, you know what? Like I'm not necessarily envious of them as much as I'm disappointed in myself for not doing the same things.
Let's sit with that, because that is that's profound, bro.
Yeah,
that's profound.
It was
for you to address it. It's profound.
I mean, everybody can address it if they really want to.
They really do.
If you got, you know, if you really want to take that deep dive, you know what I'm saying, and confront your demons. And I don't like using the word demons because they're not demons. You know, if you really want to take the deep dive and confront who you are, and really, and if you really have a curiosity to know and to grow, then you'll sit with yourself. And that's what I did. I sat with myself and I came to that conclusion, you know, because I was like, I don't feel like any sort of negativity towards this person. I'm disappointed. It was disappointment. I was mad at myself, and because I didn't really know how to handle being mad at myself at that point in my life, I directed it at somebody else because I felt like, oh, you know what? Like, what are oh, you know, what do they have that out? Or like, they're not that much smarter than me.
You were lashing out.
Yeah, I was lashing out.
You were lashing out.
And that's because that was a younger version of myself lashing out.
Yeah. So instead of demons, you probably could say weaknesses or something of that nature. Like, you know, an area in your life where you haven't lived up to your expectation.
Right.
And it caused you to then turn around and put that negativity on somebody else or towards somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's crazy you say that too, because that's literally what goes on a lot now.
Yeah. Well, what it was learned behavior.
Learned behavior.
I learned that from, you know, I learned that from how I was raised with my mom. You know, she blamed like a lot of what we went through on us.
Really?
Oh yeah, bro.
Dang.
You're the reason why we got evicted because you guys can't keep quiet.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Or you
so
got
that trauma stuck.
Oh yeah, bro. So that's what I used to. Okay, so that's how she dealt with uncomfortable situations, and so that's how I dealt with.
You indirectly took on that character trait.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why I said like, you know, like if you when I was kind of going through like the courting situation with a bunch of different women, you know, just like dating or whatever, you know, one of the things that I would ask, you know, I would really want to know about their past relationships, just because, you know, I would want to know who they dealt with, because you're inevitably going to take on some of the characteristics of your partner. And so if you were in a relationship with a manipulator, well, guess who's the second manipulator by nature, just by osmosis? You.
Wow. And that's crazy because a lot of people say you're the average of your circle.
You're the average of your circle.
And if you're with your partner more than you're with your circle, you're average of your partner as well.
You're going to take on some of those manipulative.
That's actually a good way to like
that manipulative behavior.
Evaluate. Yeah. And it's crazy that you had that level of maturity after, you know what I'm saying, you had that awakening. Me, those conversations like can save time, can save, you know, heartache, can save struggles. Internally and externally, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're lashing out, that's going to affect your partner. That's going to affect your relationship with your friends.
Yep.
But to have something that's so deep like is crazy, because a lot of society's hurting, bro. Hurt.
Oh, God.
Like tragically. You know what I'm saying? And the whole point of us doing this, you know what I'm saying, is to one, you know what I'm saying, be authentic, raw, and you know, understand that everybody's a part of humanity. But if you don't make certain shifts in your life, like, we're doomed, bro. Like, it's the trajectory we're going on right now is going to be super left, super right. That Civil War movie we watched recently the reason that shit came out is because it could happen. You know what I'm saying? People are like, the nations is dividing, and really people are just grabbing what they can. And like you were saying, the people that can't grab anything, they're lashing out. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And it costs people nothing, bro.
Man, that's super interesting you say that.
Bro.
People are just grabbing what they can, because I feel that, bro.
Bro, they're just snatching whatever they can get their hands on.
I feel that, bro, because I think that's like how the current like business climate, like, you know, I'm a drop ship to my mind, you know what I'm saying, till my head spins off and try to get this money super duper quick, and then try to sell this course, and then what? Like, the only thing we're doing is perpetuating like consumerism. I don't think people are really like actually trying to do things that benefit others.
No. So there might be a select few and very select, but it's always capitalistic. It's always capitalistic.
I mean,
and I can understand why, because we have we have needs. You know what I mean? We have necessities, and I get that. But there's definitely more bad actors than good. And it's hard to come together in any capacity if we're gatekeeping everything. You know what I'm saying?
That's so
Everything's
true.
fucking gatekeeped. It's hard as hell. Because the video I was watching, when I was telling you, I was watching when we came up with the name of the podcast, right? Excuse me. We were talking about that. We were saying like this perpetuates the opposite of gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? Waking the motherfuckers up and saying, look, bro, like you your family deserves the best version of yourself, your kids, your wife, your husband, you're saying your brother, sister, mom, whatever it is, like, and if you can't give them that, then they're gonna struggle, like we struggle, bro. Like, and they don't have to. It's not necessary, but we're the sum of our decisions, and you know when we don't like. And I'm not saying I'm making perfect decisions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking from a superior. Like I make fucked up decisions. I've done bad things in my life and things I'm not necessarily proud of. But I'm also not ashamed of everything that I do.
Right. Right.
Some of the shit I had to do because I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? Or I wanted to do it, and I'm not ashamed to say I did. But at the same time, I realized at a young age that if I don't take the power that I gave everybody else, or that everybody else held in my life, whether it was a parent or coach, if I don't take that back, I'm not gonna get far at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be stagnant as fuck, if anything. And I'm gonna be waiting on somebody to save me.
What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
I would say it was football. That was the one. Like and there was a lot of straws as a kid, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying, being let down, you know what I'm saying, whether it was my parents, whether it was myself, whether it was a coach, it didn't really matter. But the straw that broke the back was just like, as I'm going in from adolescence to adulthood, I realized, like this shit can all go away. And if it does, I could look to the left, I could look to the right, up, down, don't matter. I can't fall on shit. Like I'm going down. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that scared me. You feel me? There was no fallback plan. And so
you were thinking into the future,
yeah,
like, man,
like,
if
bro,
I don't do, like, I'm gonna be a slave,
bro. Not even just a slave. I'm gonna be a prodigal son. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be a product of whatever my situation is. Yeah. And I just it was so much discomfort in that for me. Yep. Like I felt like I there was more in me that
you had, like that feeling in the pit of your stomach, just of fear and anxiety.
Bro, anxiety, fear, uncomfortable, confusion. So for me, it's like I knew there was more in me. I just don't know. I didn't know where it was at. So during the time of my 20s too, like my main focus was just, you know what? My teenagers was let me enjoy myself. Right? I ain't put structure in my life to the point where it was like now, but I was always managing my finances most of the time well. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't putting myself in risky positions, but I was always in that poverty mindset to where it's like, damn, bro, this shit can go away tomorrow. Check to check.
Right.
You know what I mean? Check to check is like, bro, it's the most uncomfortable situation. Like,
oh, bro.
You know what I mean? When you were talking about waking up, it's just like, oh, it's so much energy to get out of bed just to go, barely get by for the next check.
Bro, tell you.
And until I realized, like, nobody's fucking gonna save me.
And nobody cares.
Nobody cares, bro.
That's the crazy part. Nobody cares.
I posted a video the other day. Nobody cares about your excuses.
Nope.
Not even God. Because when it comes down to it, like, God isn't there for your excuses. He's there for your growth, the path that you're supposed to do. Your excuses are meaningless to anybody else, right? It doesn't matter who it is. And your excuses have zero value. The only thing that people care about are results. That's it.
That's it.
If you're not giving results, they don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Well, people love a good come-up story too.
They love it. They love the come-up story. And
that's what's interesting. I think that's why the videos now where people are like just cleaning their houses are so popular, is because because deep down, like, I think people out there think that, oh, well, I don't want to be regimented, and I don't want to be disciplined, and I don't want to be, consistent because I'll feel like a slave, when in actuality, no, you're a slave to, if you don't have any structure or discipline or focus, then all you are is a slave to your impulses. You think, people don't, here's the thing. Sometimes people suffer too much freedom. because like if you
Let me
have
sit back for a second.
some,
He's speaking real quick. Let me get comfortable real quick. Go ahead, bro.
well, you know, sometimes people suffer too much freedom because they don't know how to handle freedom.
Damn.
They don't know how to handle, like, you know what I'm saying, being on their own. That's why you like see some of these college kids, right, who leave home and then go to college and they leave a structured environment and then are given freedom and then end up being burnouts and, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, living in Neverland, like Peter Pan, just never growing up.
And that's crazy you say that too, because I almost behaved in some cases in that manner. In some cases, because I was so strict, like my household was so strict about everything.
Yeah.
And when I got to college, bro, I remember this day, like this night to my life, bro, to my bed, to my grave, bro.
Yeah.
I was walking down the dorm room, like the hallway,
Yeah.
and it was like 12 or something like that. And I was heading to my partner's room,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, I just stopped for a second. I'm looking to the left, right, like phone wasn't ringing and none of that shit. Like, I'm like, wait a second. I was like, check my phone, like, you know, my dad ain't texting me and stuff. And then I hit him up the next day. I was like, you ain't hit me. He's like, bro, you're 18, you're good. I'm like, this nigga shifted completely. He went from like, don't you call me, let me know where you're at. This like strict. Overnight, like, bro, you're in college. Like, what do you want me to do?
Right.
And I was confused. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself, bro. I sat there like, why the fuck did I just stop just to consider my phone?
That's
just
crazy because you
like,
had that habit built,
bro,
huh?
Not only the habit, but like that's how my parents were strict, bro. Like kid, I couldn't go off the block, had to be on the street lights type shit, right? And so
man.
like
Classic
when I
street
had that
lights.
sense of freedom, it's like, oh shit.
Hey, now what did it feel like when you had that realization? Was it just like, oh, bro, like
It was a.
did you feel energized? Did you feel like
It was a happy moment for me because I just didn't like the ball and chain, bro. It was a happy moment for me because, but at the same time, I do have a sense of gratitude to that structure because a lot of the people that probably had, and I know some folks that had that freedom to do whatever, they're not in the best place right now. You know what I mean? And so for me, I just got to account for the space that I was in. I had a scholarship. I was playing football.
Yeah.
And that's where my focus was at. I still, you know what I'm saying, enjoyed college. And I still was a square in some cases, which I was cool with. I ain't really come up to my...
Well, with your, you know what I'm saying, with your studies, because you finished with you got your degree.
Yeah, I got my degree.
Yeah.
And then it was just, I was focused on football. That was my go-to. So that kind of limited my freedom, because we had to do that. We had responsibilities. But like, I didn't see myself drifting so far to where like I was just gonna wild out because my mentality was still based off that structure for 18 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so once
you had that foundation.
Yeah, the foundation. Mm-hmm. So I do have the gratitude towards it. Sucked going through the shit. Like I was like a lame, like I couldn't do shit, bro. Like I remember my dad, like I told my friends wanted to go on a bike ride, bro. Like, and I'm like, I'm not going on a bike ride, bro. Like y'all tripping. My dad's gonna trip. He's not gonna know. He's not gonna know. My boy Kels, I think Marcel was there, like a few other people. And I'm like, you right, the nigga's gone. Da, 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 da. They went somewhere and took my mom with
That's
them.
Crazy. You was hesitant to even go on a bike ride. I was
hesitant and they were gone. Like, bro, I said, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. So I got on a bike, we going. We rode like all throughout UT, University of Toledo, and then like some blocks past that. Bro, tell me why during that ride, right? I hear something honk. I'm like, what the fuck? I look back, bro. My dad, I fucking kid you not, bro. The one street, nigga, the one fucking, and this isn't near the house, by the way. The one fucking street we were riding our bikes on at the time that we were, and this was an hour or so into it. Right. This nigga was riding on the same street behind us, sees us, and says, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, oh shit. Bro, when I tell you, when my friends looked at me like, this nigga is tracking you, bro. Like, and this is before smart. We don't have a cell phone. I'm sitting here like,
they couldn't believe it, huh?
Dude,
just in disbelief.
In fucking awe. And I myself was like, that moment taught me, okay, I'm never doing this shit again. Because like, this is before cell phones, find my iPhone, none of that. You don't have any of that shit. So I'm like, how the fuck did he find me? He's like, bro, I wasn't even looking for you. We were driving down the street to drop her off to get her hair done. I'm like, wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. And then I think about it as an adult, like, who knows what God was stopping from me getting into? You know what I'm saying? Who knows how that would have transpired that day if they didn't catch me and tell, put your shit in the van, nigga. Get your bike in the van, go back to the house. Like, but I, to this day, will never forget this shit because, like how is that possible? Right? You know what I mean? Like it was literally the most random thing that happened. And even my friends was like, all right, yeah, we ain't never asking this nigga to come in. Something's up. Like he knows where he's at.
He got like a superpower. Bro,
something. And then so that taught me, like, you know what, like, let me just stay in line, bro. Like, I ain't gonna test the water no more. And so
I think knowing you, that's something that I noticed too, because like, you know, you have such a I'm not gonna say happy-go-lucky, but you are definitely an extrovert. You know what I'm saying? And you have, you know, like how you talk, some of your mannerisms, the way you dress. You know what I'm saying? Like you one of the cool guys. And then to hear you say like some of the things, like I remember one time I pulled up on you and Terry at Terry's house over there next to Mary Henley Park.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Right. And like me, I was a terrible student. So like just by comparison, like I hated school. I was like, I rarely did homework. I only showed up for the tests. I got all C's because the only thing I did was like, I did classwork.
Yeah.
Like whatever you wanted me to do in class, in the test, I'm on board. But if you give me homework, it's not getting done.
It's not fucking getting
I'm not doing your readings.
Hey,
I'm not doing none of that.
Let me remember, the backpacks were for show.
Oh, 100%.
They were for style, bro.
Listen, the black JanSport with the little thing, yes, JanSport.
Had a notebook in it, and that was it.
Oh, that's it. And sometimes not even that. Maybe a PE shirt. Bruh. Sometimes I took my airsoft gun to school. You know, so it's like,
What the fuck?
You know, the backpack was for other things.
Not for school.
Not for school. And then, you know, and then when I became a senior, it was a binder with a couple sheets of paper and a pencil. That's it. All right. Now, so when I see him, I'm just like, what the hell? I pull up on you guys at Terry's house.
Yeah.
And I come in, and I think it was a Friday. And I was like, man, what are we about to get into? Da-da-da-da-da. And I see this guy at the table, and I pull up on him. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, bro, I'm doing homework. And I was just like, what?
I had AP classes, fam.
He did. This dude was smart.
AP classes.
This dude was smart. And I was like, AP, and I looked at his notes, and I had never seen notes that organized before.
Bruh, I was really on my studies.
And I was fascinated. I sat down, I said, bro, what are you doing?
But it helps build a lot of structure, discipline. That's where it starts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also was a square. I couldn't really do shit anyway. Even if you invited me to go do something, it was a high chance I couldn't do it. So I usually count myself out of the situation no matter what. It was like, our team didn't have cars and shit either. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
so we couldn't just try. We had to walk everywhere.
We were walking
so
or
it
biking.
was local.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We couldn't just dip out like most of the other kids on the team and say, let's go link up at the house, drink. Like, no, none of that shit could happen. Like, who we riding with? I think Romaine was the first person to have a car in the clique. Nobody else had a car.
He was the first person to have a car.
Everybody was in that car.
And it was little.
It was little. It was like a...
we took it to parties on the weekends. That was it.
That was... And that was if his mom let him use it.
That's true.
That was if his mom... And then eventually she gave it to him. But, bruh...
Right.
We had
access to it. But by that point, by the time he had full access, like, you were already gone.
Yeah.
Clarence was still around, but Clarence didn't really kick it with us. And then, like, it was mostly... I was going through my stuff, you know, so I wasn't around.
You was ducked out for a bit.
I was ducked off, and so like
the link situation after that was like when I come back from college, like then I can go and do stuff because you know Tony had a car. I was kicking with Tony Heavy.
Yep.
Dimitri had a car.
Yeah, I had a
like
car
everybody
too.
had cars at that point. So it's like we go do something. We could really actively do something. And I already had my sense of freedom when I came back. I still had that same freedom. Like it didn't shut off. You know what I mean? Coming back. So for me, excuse me. It was just a lot of that structure that really put me in a position to kind of like realize it was a double-edged sword. Yeah. Realize, you know what, like if it's gonna get done, I'm gonna have to do it.
Right.
And also realize that it's gonna take work to get accomplished.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and nothing's ever really come easy for me, and so I don't expect it to anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean nothing?
Like football didn't come easy. I had to fight for a scholarship, you know what I'm saying? And I earned it, but like college didn't come easy. I had to study, you know what I'm saying? Actually, let me change that. High school didn't come easy. College came a lot easier than high school. It wasn't that as bad, but it just didn't come easy. And since it didn't come easy, I knew I had to.
What was your GPA?
In college?
Yeah.
Like 3.4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still solid. It's just the fact that like I knew I couldn't just like, I just wasn't just born intellectual. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't just gifted that much to where it's like, okay, I don't have to try.
Yeah, but in that sort of environment, it takes your skill set to succeed.
No, I know, and I honed it over time.
Like discipline,
but I'm saying it took
like structure.
Work.
Yeah,
like nothing came easy in the sense of like I actually had to put in the work.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Some people could just like Remy, for example. She said she didn't even have to try to study. It's like she got it because she writes well. Like you know what I'm saying? For me, I have to think like. excessively. And sometimes that's why I want to do this.
Yeah.
Is because this gives me an opportunity to learn how to speak, how to communicate, how to carry conversations just outside of or on different types of topics.
Right.
And so for me, I learned early that nothing's gonna come easy. And so I have to fight for everything. And you know, we'll wrap it up on something, you know, similar to that is just like when it comes to the brand, we know it's not gonna come easy.
Yep.
Anime Kills isn't gonna come easy, but the things that we're doing feel great. It still work, but it feels great. And we're creating something for ourselves first and foremost. So it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying, how everybody else is measuring certain things, because that's not carrying anything for us. It's not changing anything for us. It's not going to change how I feel about this. It's not going to change how I feel about that. My confidence, I feel, is almost, not fully. And I think the word is indomitable. I think that's the word. If you're in YouTube, go ahead and drop the name of the word. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. But
Indomitable, yeah.
It pretty much is it can't be defeated by something outside of myself. And I learned early not to give people the power to chip away at that. So even if it's some shit like, you know, somebody's not feeling how I say something, somebody's not feeling like what I put out, or somebody's not feeling like my outfit or this, that, third, it doesn't really, you know what I'm saying, chip away at me like that, like most people. Because in this game that's life, like, you're gonna get a lot of hate.
Well, your responsibility is to yourself.
Yeah, and you have to be responsible to
first.
Yeah, to make sure you stay yourself first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't, then any way the waves sway, your ass is shifting. It's you're gonna be 3 different people in a year. You know what I mean? So be rooted, and we'll probably leave you guys with something like that. Is because we always like to leave the audience with something. You know what I'm saying? Be rooted in who you are, and only shift for yourself in certain aspects. And what I mean by that is, like, understand what and why you're doing something, and you'll understand that nobody else can interfere with that shit. And you become, like, how do you say, elevated. You know what I'm saying? Above it all. You can't, like, people can't really get to you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happened with you in your transition, is you came to yourself. You got yourself to a point where nobody else can come to you and chip away at that, because you built that. They can't have it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a filter that allows the things that pertain to you in and blocks the things that don't, because you have to have feedback.
Yes.
That's the only way that you can grow, whether it's self-feedback or feedback from others.
Yes.
Most of it should probably come from yourself.
Filter
lot of
the
it,
fuck out of it.
yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be checking yourself daily, and not like you should be, you know, do a self-check, you know? And I think, you know, Erron makes a good point, and, you know, to leave you guys with something else is, man, spend some time alone.
That's the tough thing for me as an extrovert, spending time alone.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't want to hear what you got to say.
It's tough. It's tough for an extrovert.
It is.
You know, my brother's the same way, you know, and I planted that seed where he needs to turn inward. Spend some time with yourself and turn inward and just see what's going on, see what shakes.
Yes, sir. And, you know, being that you're humanity's last hope in our eyes, you know what I'm saying? We're humanity's last hope in your eyes, and whatever it may be, right? You have to take control of that shit. And that's what we'll leave you guys with. And don't forget, smash that like. We forgot to do housekeeping earlier.
We did. Let's clean it up right now.
Yes, sir.
So if you guys want to connect with us on Instagram, it's Dorian D. Scotto and
Erron
Vonner. Same on TikTok. Yeah, give us a follow. Let's connect. We can chat about this. We'll have everything chopped up, clipped up, and ready to go for you guys here very, very shortly. So
yes,
you know, we'll have the shorts and the clips going out, and then the full version of this will be on our YouTube page.
Yes.
Too.
Drop us some comments, leave us some feedback. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
send some love.
Right. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
All right.
Good shit, bro.
Yeah.